come Sunday, Carson Wentz wants to go out and embarrass your team. He wants to humiliate them, he wants to take it to them, and he wants to give you a loss. Are you okay with it? 'Cause I'm not. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's hanging in. Hope you guys are doing well. You know, this Washington Eagles game, I gotta tell you, over the course of the last 24 hours, the whole Carson Wentz thing has just been gnawing at me, man. It has been just driving me nuts. And it's brought up, with this game, it has brought up a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings that were buried down deep inside when Carson Wentz was still with the Eagles right before he left, okay? Because I'm telling you, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at Carson Wentz and I'm going, that was our franchise quarterback. That's a guy who helped us to get to the Super Bowl, and he's playing for Washington. He's not playing for Colts. He's playing for Washington, and it pisses me off. It pisses me off. Now, I don't even know if I'm going to release this video, okay? You might see it, you might not see this. This may just be me getting some stuff off my chest, because when it comes to Carson Wentz, I view him a lot differently than a lot of other people. Now, go back a few years when Carson Wentz was a quarterback. Go look at my videos. Go look at all the videos I did on Carson Wentz while he was with the Eagles, even when he got pulled and he got benched by Doug Peterson and Jalen Hurts came in. I backed the guy to the end. I backed him through Nick Foles. I backed him when he got benched, and I wanted him to come back that following year and fight for his starting job. You see, I think Carson Wentz was at an inflection point. That benching and that way that season ended with Hurts now in the mix for a starting job, that was Carson Wentz's inflection point, okay? That was where you choose the easy path or you choose the difficult path, okay? The easy path was to get traded, to request a trade. That was the easy way out. The hard way out was to stay in Philly and fight for your job. Come in and fight and beat out Jalen Hurts and prove to the fan base, to the coaches, to the front office, to the players that you're the man for the job. You know how much respect this guy would have had if he just had done it. If he had just done it. But he didn't. He bailed. Now, some people say, well, look how Howie Roseman treated him. Look at what Howie did and how bad it was. No wonder he wanted out. You have an absolute great point. This is all true. They screwed him over. They didn't build around him. I have said this countless times. But that is where you need your leader to step up. Hang in there. Be committed to the franchise. And get through it. Eventually, Howie would have saw the light. And he was like, I got to get this guy something. Do you realize if Carson comes in and battles Jalen Hurts and beats him out, do you realize the respect in that locker room all of a sudden he has? All of a sudden he has. And he didn't do it. That's why I call him a quitter. That's why I think he quit. That's why I say that. Now, some people get mad at me. Some people get offended. They get offended that I say that. Well, guess what? All I can say is this. If you're offended, then be offended. It's not my problem. I'm just telling you how I feel, how I think. I gave Carson Wentz the greatest nickname in football history, the North Dakota Assassin. I've also given him the best new nickname in football history, Woogie. And that's what I gave him Woogie 2 years ago. And that's who he is. Because Carson, when he gets stressed out, he gets all those blah, 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 all over his face, like Woogie and Something About Mary. But, it frustrates me that this guy is now playing for Washington. And why do I say it? Why do I think that? Why do I feel? Because he was one of us. He was ours. He was ours. And he left. Now, that has nothing to do with Jalen Hurts. Because Jalen Hurts didn't ask to be drafted by the Eagles. Jalen Hurts didn't ask to be in that locker room. Jalen Hurts did everything that somebody could want. And you look at Jalen Hurts, how he kept working. I mean, there was talks and there's articles talking about Carson Wentz in the locker room kind of ignoring Jalen Hurts. A lot of like, high school childish stuff going on in that quarterback room. But Jalen Hurts ignored it all, stuck to what he had to do, learn, and focused in on what he needed to do. That's why they say Jalen Hurts has the intangibles that Carson Wentz doesn't seem to show. That's why he has the natural leadership that Carson Wentz doesn't seem to show. That's why he is where he is and Carson Wentz is where he is. That is why. So when you hear Carson Wentz was mad about Jalen Hurts being drafted, I get it. He should have been. But when you get into that quarterback room, you've got to treat him the way Nick Foles treated you. That's how you have to treat him. You have to treat him like a man. You have to give him respect. You listen to Jalen Hurts this week. You listen to that press conference this week. He just said he respected him as a football player. He didn't really say much more. That's very telling to me. Jalen Hurts is loved. Now, there's a lot of players on the Eagles team that love Carson Wentz. There was a lot of players that didn't. He seemed to have his clicks. And it's a shame. But despite all that stuff, all I wanted Carson Wentz to do was fight for his job with Jalen Hurts. Let the best man win. And if he would have won, he would have, in my opinion, ascended back to one of the top quarterbacks of the league. But he didn't choose the tough path. He didn't choose the hard road. He didn't choose the road that maybe is less traveled or less exciting or seems like it has bigger daylight around the corner. He chose the other path. He chose the easy path. He chose the dark side. The hard path, not all the time, but a lot of times, the toughest path, the thing you don't want to do, the thing that you have to do as a man, to be a man, you have to do things you don't want to do. You get up, you go to work 5 a.m, you don't feel like being there, but you're there. You get up, you go to the gym, you don't feel like doing it, but you do it. Me, I got to work on my own stuff. A lot of stuff I do, I don't feel like doing every day, but I do it. Some things I got to work on, like my weight, I'm working on it. But Carson Wentz needed to stick around and be a man. And stick around and fight through it. Even though it's hard and there was obstacles. By doing that, I believe he would have came out on the other side better. A better quarterback, a better leader, a better teammate, a better man for doing it. And he would have ascended, his confidence would have skyrocketed, and he would have ascended once again to one of the top quarterbacks. But he didn't do it. He wanted to get out of there and go to Indianapolis. And I'm supposed to feel sorry for him when he plays for Washington. I don't want him to win versus the Eagles. I don't want him to. I want him to go down. I want him to fumble. I want him to get sacked. I want interceptions. I want it all. Okay? I want to take his life. Well, not literally, but I want to take, his fight in the game. I want him to quit. Like he quit on the Eagles. That's what I want out of this game. I want him to quit like he did for the Eagles on Sunday. I want the Eagles to make him quit. Guy frustrates the hell out of me. That's just how I feel. That is true feelings. I love the kid. I wanted him to do great. Now, when he leaves Washington and he goes to, I don't know, Chicago, Indianapolis again, Tennessee, wherever the hell he goes, I wish him nothing but the best. Hope you win Super Bowl. Hope you figure it out. But as long as he's in the NFC East, as long as he plays for a team called Washington Commanders, which is a stupid name, I'm rooting against him. I don't want the guy to get hurt tomorrow. I don't want him to get hurt. I don't want him to be injured. I don't want him to die. I don't want anything bad to happen to him. But I want to win. And I want to take it out on his ass. And I want him to quit. I want him to quit and say, I can't win this game. This team's too good. Fumble. Interception. Fumble. That's what I want to see. That's how I really feel. Because to me, A lot of people think the Eagles quit or got rid of him or gave up on him. I don't see it like that. I think he quit on them. But listen, one other thing. Nick Sirianni was hired out of Frank Reich's coaching staff. Frank Reich was supposed to be the reason why Carson Wentz was so good in 2017. Maybe a little too much credit was given to Frank Reich about 2017, and maybe not enough was given how good Carson Wentz was that year. I believe Carson Wentz won the MVP, and it was stolen from him. We would never have won the Super Bowl without Carson Wentz. No question about it. But he left. He left us. And that's the way I feel about it. I wanted him to take the tough path. I wanted him to stay and fight. Because even if he didn't win, even if Jalen Hurts goes out and beats him, I could respect him for it. I could respect it. But I didn't respect that all of a sudden the Eagles hired Nick Sirianni out of Frank Reich's tree, a guy that's supposed to come in and work with Carson and get Carson back to form, and he bails on them. Then you have Nick Sirianni come in. Now he's got a quarterback in Jalen Hurts he's never had before, and he started, they started slow. Then he made his adjustments in the regular season, and look what he's done now. Nick Sirianni is a good coach. He's a really good coach for what he did. But he wasn't hired to coach Jalen Hurts. He was hired to coach Carson Wentz. And if the Eagles were going to trade him all along, they wouldn't have hired a coach to coach Carson Wentz. They traded Carson Wentz because he gave up on your team. He gave up on this. He didn't want to be part of this, part of that. However you look at it. So when he playing with Washington tomorrow, he's going to want to beat the hell out of the team. He's going to want to take it out on our ass. And I want him to quit. I want him to quit the way he quit. When I say quit, I don't mean he walks off the field, takes his helmet off. I mean inside, mentally, he says, I can't beat this team. I can't win today. That's what I want. I want him to go out, and I hope he's 0 for 40, minus 5 yards, 80 interceptions. I don't care. I don't care. He plays for Washington. He doesn't play for us. And he wants to take down our ass. And you know what? He didn't take the easy path. He didn't take the tough path. He took the easy way out. And that's how I always see it. Jalen Hurts, he takes the tough path. He's the real deal. Mentally, the intangibles, the leadership, the real deal. And at the end of the day, we're going to be better off. I have no idea if this will ever come out, but I had to get this off my chest. I feel better now. Let's play some football. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. And remember, it's how we vision. We're all just living in it. Man, I feel much better now. Much, much, much better, okay? Because I gotta tell you, this whole week, it brought up a lot of emotion, a lot of things about Carson that we kind of just forgot about, didn't talk about, didn't know about, because of the way everything happened with him. It's just crazy. It's crazy. I hate the way things ended with him in Philly. I absolutely hate it. But at the same time, I wouldn't want him back. Let me be clear. I wouldn't want him back right now. I'd rather have Jalen Hurts because of where he's at. But a lot of it, I believe, is because Carson chose the easy path, not the difficult one, not the one you want a franchise guy to do. Remember back in the day when the Sixers stunk? And everybody was talking about whether Allen Iverson would get a franchise extension. And he did. He signed an extension with the Sixers. And people asked him, I'll never forget this. They asked him, hey, Allen Iverson, why did you sign with the Sixers when they've been so bad? And he's like, you can't run. You got to stay through the hard times. You got to fight through the hard times. And he went through some hard times. And there was a perfect example of a guy who chose the difficult path, not the easy one. And look how his career ended. One of the greatest players to ever play. Denzel Washington out.